Hola, and welcome to the Adventures in Learning podcast. I am thrilled to welcome one of the most amazing travel guides on the face of this planet to our show today. Analu Huerta is an ecotourist expert. She taught me so much about the Galapagos Islands and about Ecuador, and that's now on my bucket list of additional places I want to go, particularly to the highlands. But I'm so excited to welcome her to the show and let you have a chance to learn a little bit about what it means to see this beautiful planet. Wonder, curiosity, connection. Where will your adventures take you? I'm Dr. Diane, and thank you for joining me on today's episode of Adventures in Learning. Analu, welcome.
Hi, good to see you. Thank you very much
so
to invite me today. I'm very, very happy to be here.
Oh, I am so happy to see you. For those who are listening, I was fortunate enough to be able to go to the Galapagos with my father and my sister last fall, and Analu was our mama hen. She took us everywhere and really helped us to understand the importance of the ecology of the place. How did you wind up in a career field like this? What drew you to it?
I don't know, all my life I knew that I wanted to do something in nature. And I think I'm a people person. I like people. So it was a good combination. In my high school, I found, and here in Ecuador, we have careers since high school. You can choose what you want to do since high school. So I chose ecotourism, which was something that I like. I just read everything, and then I interviewed with a person that was in charge in that moment, and I just loved it. I was very young. I was 15, so it was not really something that I planned to do the rest of my life, but it turns out that yes, it was. Then I follow in the university the same, and yeah, I became a guide when I was 27. So after I finished my university at 22, something like that. And then I did many different things. I tried to work in a museum. I tried to work in an office. I tried to work in a tour operator. And I love tourism, but definitely I wanted to do something outdoors. So yeah, it turns out that it was my life to be a guide. Yeah.
And what kinds of things go into learning how to be a good guide?
I don't know. It's just like probably you need to learn how to read your people, if they're interested or not. You need to know why they are coming or, what are they interested and just focus on that, because if it is up to me, I can show you everything, but many people do not care about many things. So you do need to learn you need to learn how to read your people. I think that's the clue. Yeah.
That sounds like a really good lesson for life in general, that if you understand the people around you, you're better able to work with them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And just, I don't know, really, I think it is something that you have inside that really love what you do, that in many other careers, it is, I don't know, something important. If you do not like what you do, you just move to another place. Yeah. Otherwise you are not happy. Yeah.
And when you're guiding people, you're taking them into places that are protected, that are national parks, that the Ecuadorian government has said, no, we're not going to damage these. How do you help people understand sort of the enormity of that? Because that's a big deal.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, you always have people that they do not care, that they just want to visit. But I think with your acts as well, like acting as you really feel what you are doing, it's the most important lesson that you can give it to them. Obviously, you just tell them that this is important because of this, because of this, because of this. And we are doing this in order to preserve this. So that help a lot. People mainly understand why, and they respect a lot, which is good. Most of people do respect. Yeah.
What makes the Galapagos so special for you?
Well, Galapagos is out of this world, definitely. Galapagos is kind of an icon for Ecuador tourism. The fact that we have I mean, that we are lucky enough to have Galapagos as part of Ecuador. It is, it is really very important. All the, I don't know, the conservation that is happening there, the animals, that they just don't get scared of the people. I don't know. When you go there, you realize how important it is and how people is working, at least in this very tiny point of the world, working towards preserving something important. I don't know, make you realize that is definitely something that you just need to keep doing. Just not just doing or working in conservation, but sharing that, which is clue for people to understand why. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think for me that was one of the things that I thought was so special was those moments where you realize that you've got all these scientists, for example, working with the Darwin finches and monitoring them, but then you've got the boats that are making sure that they're not infringing on these habitats, and you've got people like you who are teaching people about these things, and everything sort of goes together so that you're protecting something that's important for.
Yeah, the naturalist guides, because I am not a naturalist guide. I cannot be guiding in the Galapagos. I am just working as a tour leader there, which is obviously nice for me to have the chance to do that. But I definitely admire the naturalist guides because they do feel, or I feel that they feel that they do belong there, that they do really need to take care of whatever they are doing there. So if they see something wrong, they will tell, because they are like truly park rangers, not in their definition of job, but they are taking care of their space, they are taking care of their nature, they are taking care of the islands as their own, which is amazing to see that. I always do the same.
If you wanted to teach somebody about conservation and you wanted them to understand why the Galapagos were so important, what would be like the top 5 things you would want them to see?
First, the first one of the most important things that I think realize how different the species are there. Yes, they are similar, like iguanas, for example. They are similar to other iguanas. They are at the same time so different. So, point out the difference of the animals that we have there. Point out the number of species that we have there in terms of endemism. Yeah. Important to mention as well that they are places that we visit and places that we don't, because the animals deserve to have their own space as well. What else? The important to mention that there's many people behind scenes, like working very hard, organizing the different itineraries for the different ships and the different boats that they are there. So that is extremely important as well. And the scientists, that they always need to collaborate with other people, like in order to find the species to be in good shape, because every little thing can affect that big itinerary. And they work with, I don't know, introduce a species, the places that they are not, that they are part of the people there, too, that it is important to know that, yes, people need this, but nature needs this, and the combination of that is important as well. So all those kind of things.
I think those are important lessons for us to learn wherever we live in the world.
Exactly, because you do need to have a balance between the place that you live and the place or how you live, because it's Pachamama, Mother Earth is where we live, so we need to respect it.
Exactly. One of the things that you taught me, and I keep thinking about this, is that the Galapagos are just one small part of Ecuador. That often when people think about Ecuador, they think about the Galapagos and that form of ecotourism, but it's so much richer. Can you talk a little bit about the tourism industry in Ecuador and the other places that maybe people neglect or don't think about?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as I said before, we are very lucky to have Galapagos, because Galapagos sells itself. itself, so it doesn't really need a lot of marketing because people know Galapagos. And it's definitely beautiful place. But the mainland, there are other many beautiful things. I really think that the country, Ecuador, it is super tiny and it's very easy to travel around. We have a lot of different ecosystems because of the geography position that we have that actually make Galapagos special, make the mainland as well very special. We have the mountains, the Andes, and we are the equator line. So when you think in a place that says like in equator line, you think in warm places, but here is not. Today is a super cold day, for example. So because we are up in the mountains and at the equator line, it is unique. We are the only country that we have the Andes and the equator line together. So that help us to have different ecosystems and many different things to show. Like the Andes, there are many volcanoes, calderas with lakes inside. We have the Amazon rainforest as well, the Pacific coast. And the Pacific coast is actually very important because we have the two currents affecting the Pacific coast, the Panama current in the north, which is the warm current, and the Humboldt current in the south, which is the cold current. And that creates weather that there's no in any other place in the world, So it is very special. There is chances to see many things. You can travel 1.5 hours from here, from Quito, and you go to the highest active volcano in Ecuador, the Cotopaxi. Or on the other side, you go to the cloud forest, which you have more than 500 species of birds just in that spot, or 1.5 hours in the other side, and then you go to lakes and lagoons inside of the craters. So it is really, really nice, really special because we have a very big combination of many different things in such a little territory. Like Ecuador is the size of Colorado, for you to understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect. So knowing that in a country the size of Colorado, you have so many different endemic species within those different ecosystems.
Yeah.
How are you as a country going about protecting them, and how does ecotourism help with that?
Well, it is difficult. It's definitely a challenge because of everything that is happening that probably you know about minery and oil and, well, many of these things. But we have the territory, we have different protected areas that people fight for that, and local people will always defend these areas too, which is good because then make you feel that local people really care about nature. Not everybody, many people in the cities, they just don't care, but people in the countryside, they do. So ecotourism, I think it is one of the escapes to do, activities like minery that can affect a lot the ecosystem everywhere. So I know that ecology or just conservation, it doesn't give you money. So people won't be able to live out of this. But if we combine conservation with tourism, then it's another story, because then there are people that will be paying to visit a place that you will see many of these fabulous things. So it is a good combination. Unfortunately, not yet. in Ecuador, is not one of the main business, but hopefully we will working towards that, so let's see.
Right. And I think I remember when you sort of gave us our history lesson that ecotourism is starting to climb as one of the industries.
Yes, there are several communities that they are working in ecotourism. So yes, it is starting to rise. And nowadays, many, many places in the Amazon, in the highlands, in the coast, they are working with ecotourism, but sometimes they can be a little bit confusion as well between ecotourism and just tourism, so it is definitely something that we need to work on, but I think it is in a good pace. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think about the David Attenborough quote about and Jane Goodall kind of said the same thing, that we have to be able to see and to love something in order to want to protect it. And I think ecotourism can be that missing piece for people. And as you said, it does that important bit of also putting money back into the communities that are protecting the areas.
Yes, exactly. And then ecotourism is not just, like joining these two, conservation and tourism. It's actually implies more. It's like do something regenerative, like find ways to protect nature while you, yes, profit from that, but while you help to I don't know, like help other people, help other communities, and all the nature gets involved. So it's like many different things involved in ecotourism. So it's a very big word, very difficult to describe it just in a little thing, you know.
Well, and I think it's complicated. I mean, I was lucky enough, I saw it in different aspects all fall because I also saw it in South Africa where an organization like Wild Tomorrow is actually working on buying land to build a corridor from the mountains to the oceans,
Hmm.
but employing people all the way around. And so it's more than just buying land, it's bringing in community members as the rangers, as the guides, supporting education, supporting farming,
Exactly.
while creating a space for the animals. And it sounds like that's part of where we're going in Ecuador as well.
Yeah, well, hopefully, yes. Little by little, the conservation in Ecuador has been important. Unfortunately, the government doesn't support too much nowadays. This government that we have, it doesn't care much. And that is something that retract a lot, you know. So the
Welcome
Ministry
to
of
our world.
Environment disappear. The Ministry of Tourism disappear. Nowadays, we belong to other ministries.
Mm.
So it's sad and it's heartbreaking. But it's happening here in Ecuador. Yeah, it is really difficult. We really depends on the government on in time, because I really feel that the especially indigenous communities that they protect their land, they realize that they need to protect it. But the government doesn't care about that, you know, and it's this constant fight between the powerful government, between yeah, the local people.
I get it. We're in a similar situation right now in the States where
Mhm.
there's definitely a huge power dynamic between a handful of elites who are out to gather all the resources and the people who love the parks and love the land.
Yeah. Mhm.
It's a challenge.
It is, but it doesn't mean that we have to stop fighting, that we have to stop working, that we have to stop, I don't know, teaching, because I think education is the base of everything, you know, like we have to learn, we have to know different skills, we have to share this. So it is really important to educate people since they are kids about not just conservation, but about, I don't know, love their land, you know, love what they have, and just like be conscious of that.
And imagine a space where curiosity drives innovation, where empathy fuels collaboration, and where learning feels less like a task and more like an adventure. My message isn't about adding more to your plate, it's about changing how you see the plate entirely. I'm Dr. Diane Jackson Schnorr, and through the power of purposeful play, I equip leaders, educators, and organizations with the tools you need to unlock creative problem solving, deepen human connection, and build resistant ecosystems of empathy and innovation. Attendees will walk away not just inspired, but empowered, with immediately usable strategies to spark curiosity in teams, to lead with empathy, and to infuse learning into their everyday cultures. You'll learn how play isn't child's work, it's the secret weapon of the world's most effective leaders and change makers. This is not a feel-good talk that fades by Monday morning, it's a movement, a shift in how we engage people, solve problems, and lead meaningful change. My talks and workshops are shaped by decades of experience in education and a transformative message that connects across sectors. Whether your audience is corporate, educational, or nonprofit, they'll leave ready to rethink what's possible, both personally and professionally. Because when we learn and lead through play, we don't just change organizations, we change the world. Check it out at drdianeadventures.com. Storytelling is something you're so good at. What were sort of the first stories that nature told you? Because you are really good at taking your love of nature and being able to share it with others. I'm wondering what were sort of some of those early inspirations for you?
Well, since I was like 15, 16, when I was in high school, I had a teacher that he loved to go to nature, and we used to love with him. like all of us, Fortunately, my mommy was open for me to go in these field trips. But probably since that time, I start falling in love of nature. I start falling in love of the mountains, of El Páramo, of the forest and the birds. So it's not that, I don't know, it's not that obviously I studied all those ecology, nature later, but I think the passion that I have because of nature, that's helped me to share that. So if you ask me like something special that happened, it was all my life visiting the forest, visiting and staying there, like camping, I don't know, like everything. It's just, I understand that nature is special because I am part of nature, and I try to share that as much as possible with people who want to listen, because not everybody wants to. But
Right.
yeah.
Well, and it sounds like maybe then if we're thinking about how do we get kids to fall in love with nature, the first ingredient is to take them outside and
Oh yeah,
spend
for sure.
time exploring. And even if you live in a city, there's always some nature you can find, whether it's a park or a favorite tree or a bird's nest or something.
Yeah, I think maybe, well, here in Quito, we are lucky to have many different things very close. So if somebody, if a tourist come here, and that happen a lot, I always try to offer them, if they have time, to go to the cloud forest, to go to visit the bird sanctuaries, because I think when they see how special it is, then they understand better, because it's not the same that somebody tell you, like, yes, we do have 1,736 species of birds. It's like, meh. But when you experience in just 1 hour seeing like 20 species of birds in the same spot, then it's different. So
Exactly.
then people understand absorbing that. Yeah.
No, that makes a lot of sense. So I have to ask, as somebody who loves to travel, what's on your bucket list? Where are places that you want to go?
Whew. Well, Iceland, definitely. I would love to see Iceland, all the volcanic activity that they have there, everything about that. And the Northern Lights. That's something that I will do it anywhere at some point in my life, because we don't have that in here. We are at the equator.
Fair
So
enough.
definitely. I would love to go to La Patagonia. I've been in Argentina and Chile, but not in the south. Right now, it's heartbreaking as well what is happening in La Patagonia with all the fire and everything. It's just, but yeah, La Patagonia is definitely one on my bucket list. I would love to see Jordan and all that desert around there. Yeah, I think it is just so interesting. And for some reason, Croatia. I don't know. I have had many people telling me that Croatia is so beautiful, that it has a lot of beautiful nature things, that I would love to go. But if you ask me like a lot about Croatia, I don't know many things about Croatia. It's just like something that is somewhere in my brain.
Well, and you're
And
making it real now by putting it out in the world. And I
yeah.
think you and I have very similar places. And maybe that's part of that love of the world and the planet, is appreciating how diverse and beautiful it is
Oh, yeah.
in so many different places.
I really recommend, though. I know that you have a huge country that is like almost the whole continent. Ecuador is tiny, but when I start traveling Ecuador, I really said like, I need to know my country in order to understand myself, my things, my country, and then I travel outside. Not to compare, because it's not fair to compare. Every country is different. Every place has a different things, but I don't know, to hold on to that love of the country that you have, and just like enjoy different things. So learn first what you are, your own things, and then you just go.
I love that. And that's actually something that Barry and I have been doing since we moved to New Hampshire, is trying to get out and explore this tiny state that we find ourselves in, where, like you were talking about with Ecuador, 45 minutes away, we have the ocean. The Atlantic Ocean is right there. Another 45 minutes to the north, there are these mountains and
Yeah.
there are forests. And so it's appreciating the beauty of where we are, which then makes it easier to appreciate the beauty of other places as well.
Yes, definitely. And you know what? COVID, that it was awful for many different reasons, But one of the good things that left is that people learn how to travel local. People learn how to, yes, that your own place has different things to offer. And that is actually something that we are seeing until now. So, yeah.
And one of the reasons we got out exploring, you were responsible for. We ended up, I had postcards from the post office barrel in the Galapagos.
Good.
And I delivered a postcard it was Hampton, New Hampshire. And I knocked on the door, and this little girl comes to the door, and I said, "Are you so-and-so?" And she says, "Yes." And she takes the postcard and runs in. And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine. I'll never see her again." I go back to the car, and her mother comes running out the back and is like, "Wait, wait, wait." And so we wound up talking, and 2 weeks prior, her stepmother and husband had been in the Galapagos and had sent this postcard to their grandchildren. And so I was able to deliver it, and I happened to be wearing my red-footed booby earrings, so I showed them to the little girl, and she brought out the stuffed animal that her grandparents had bought her, and we started looking at pictures, and I thought, what a beautiful, quick moment of connection just in sharing love of animals with a child who, her experience of it is this stuffed animal, but now she's got another connection.
Yeah, definitely. And these things that happen to you when you are a child, it may lead to a very nice path when you are in the future. Maybe she's thinking, okay, at some point I want to visit the Galapagos because of that. And then right now it will be just to see the boobies, But then at some point, maybe then she wants to preserve that and she wants to go work in conservation. I don't know. It's just
right.
like
We have no idea what seeds we're planting
that you create when you're a child are very important for the future. So thank you. That's amazing to know. Thank you for letting me know.
So my last question for today, what currently brings you hope?
I don't know. Every time that I go to the cloud forest or to the mountains, my hope is really that the nature, that to keep having that, like the idea of minery, the idea of oil extraction, and the idea of this false development it's something that it really takes a lot of my mind. But my hope is to I don't know, to hold on to this nature that is still there, that is still amazing, that that we can help to preserve. Every time that I visit one of these places, I really hope for people to understand that is important. And it's not just my tourism, because my tourist also, I try to speak with locals. I mean, if I have a local guide, if I visit a local family, always try to make them realize in their own words how important what they have is. So I don't know. That's my hope.
That's a beautiful hope.
Yeah.
Well, Analu, thank you for joining us on the podcast today. And I certainly hope that our paths cross with travel again.
Yes. Thank you very much, Diane, to invite me. It was a real pleasure to see you again. Really, we had a nice time in the Galapagos.
We did.
And really, I hope you come to Ecuador and bring all your party.
That's my hope.
Yeah.
You've been listening to the Adventures in Learning podcast with your host, Dr. Diane. If you like what you're hearing, please subscribe, download, and let us know what you think. And please tell a friend. If you want the full show notes and the pictures, please go to drdianeadventures.com. We look forward to you joining us on our next adventure.